Good morning. My name is Eliza Roach, and I'm a sixth form boarder from Buffalo, New York. I started at Westminster last year as a junior. This chapel talk is all about my time here on the Hill. Specifically, this is a story of 3 uniquely different months of March. March 18th, 2020, the day I learned just how much can change with one email. I was sitting at the kitchen table eating dinner with my parents and one of my older sisters when I saw the Spring Vacation Health Advisory Update from Head of School, Mr. Phillip. I was skimming through the email, curious to see what the newest update was and wondering what 2 weeks of online school would look like, when I read the beginning of the second paragraph out loud. Given all that is occurring, we have decided to close the campus for the entire spring term. My heart sank, and I looked up at my parents, exchanging a look of confusion, as if we had all been the targets of a cruel joke. As I explained to them later that night, I felt as if so much happiness had been stolen by that one email. My first 6 months at Westminster had felt, finally, as if it was possible to enjoy high school. I had just experienced my best year so far. I had met the coolest kids, had grown close to my teachers. I was playing on 2 of the most fun teams on campus, and I was living with my new friends. I had unintentionally found a place that I could call home. Suddenly, last March, I, like just about everyone on the planet, was thrown for a loop. I had no idea what to expect from taking classes online, and I was so upset that I wouldn't be able to see my friends and teachers for who knows how long. March of 2020 ended up being, in my humble opinion, the longest and most chaotic month of my lifetime. I was watching Tiger King with my mom, had just downloaded the app TikTok, was reading for fun for the first time in years, and I had picked up a guitar in an attempt to pass the time. I felt like I had lost my entire sense of direction and was scrambling to find something, anything to guide me. I had been so excited for spring on the Hill with my friends, but all I could think about were the seniors I wouldn't be able to say goodbye to, and the new friends and teammates I wouldn't see again. What kept me going throughout this time was the hopefulness I felt when I thought about returning to my campus and moving back into my home away from home in the fall. It was pretty crazy that I was feeling so passionate about my experience at Westy last March, when just 1 year prior, I had no idea what I was signing myself up for. I had decided late in the fall of my junior year at a local private school in Buffalo that I wanted to repeat my junior year at a boarding school. Boarding school was an incredibly foreign subject in Buffalo, and the idea that I was repeating was just as appalling. I fielded questions from a staggering number of faculty and students who were genuinely worried that my parents were sending me away to military school. When I broke the news that I had been the one to suggest boarding school, there was definitely shock from most people. The familial connection I have to my former school is exponential, so I understood the early confusion about my decision. My aunt, uncle, father, 2 cousins, 2 siblings, and I all attended Nichols School in Buffalo. And my mom is currently a teacher there. She was my 7th grade history teacher, which honestly is a chapel talk in and of itself. Early on in the process of interviewing and touring prep schools, I felt as if I was going against my family, friends, and teachers. Luckily, I had some really spectacular people in my corner who constantly reminded me that I was doing what was best for me, and that even if others didn't understand, this was my decision to make and my adventure to go on. Even after countless conversations with friends and family about boarding school and my decision, it wasn't until March 2019 that the reality of my situation really hit me. As you all know, prep school admissions decisions come out in early March. I still remember the morning I got mine. I had barely slept at all the night before, so I was absolutely exhausted. But all I could think about was getting onto the admissions portal. After logging on, I felt like this entire new universe had opened up right in front of me. I was officially moving to New England for high school, and I quite literally couldn't have been happier about it. But I also had no clue what going to boarding school actually entailed, and here I was coming in as a new junior. There were a lot of emotions and a lot of unknowns that March, but I think things turned out pretty well. That brings us to March 2021, finally my senior year. Except it's not quite what I imagined. I wasn't able to lead my soccer team to the Founders League playoffs like I had planned, or take weekends to stay at my friends' houses, or even just hang out in the stud during evening study hall with other seniors. Over Thanksgiving break, I realized that there's a lot that I have been able to do this year, regardless of COVID. I've been able to live with one of my best friends for the second consecutive year. I played amazing, hilarious, memorable soccer and basketball seasons with close friends and my favorite coaches. I've taken some of the coolest, most interesting classes I've ever taken, like History of the Forgotten with Mrs. Mock and Mr. Lawler's winter term senior English. I've even had the ability to take guitar lessons from a local pro musician, which was something that never would have happened without the pandemic. This wasn't the senior year that I expected, or frankly wanted, but it's been a year I will never forget. My friends taught me how to skate on the outdoor rink. I live on inarguably the best hall on campus with people who have become my closest friends. I've gone to more bonfires and eaten more s'mores than I have at any point in my life. And I've met people this year who have made huge impacts on who I am and how I think. Things this year haven't been perfect by any means. I got my first Sunday hall, which is just a fancy term for detention. I lived through a multitude of quarantines. I missed my sister's engagement because I had Zoom class. And my senior athletic seasons were not quite what I had pictured. It would be easy to take a step back and wallow in the fact that this year wasn't what I wanted or expected, but that doesn't change anything. Taking walks around the quad, hanging out in the senior lounge with friends, sitting down with dorm parents in the common room as we chat for hours, and doing activities with girls on the hallway. That's what makes the difference. All year, I've been trying to change the narrative in my head so that it's less about what I didn't get and more about what I do have. Stuff happens, and plans rarely work out the way you want them to. So you have to be able to adapt and rely on the fact that you have a support system that will be in your corner no matter what. I have no idea what March of 2022 is going to look like. I'm going to be at Denison University in Ohio on a new soccer team and on a new campus with completely new classmates and professors. Only time can tell what will happen. All I know is that thanks to the last few marches, I feel prepared for just about any situation that the universe throws at me. And I know that I have people, many of whom I've met here at Westy, who are going to have my back through it all. Thank you.